warm welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. It is a pleasure to have you here with us today. Our show is Global Adventures. And if you haven't watched before, please do make note on your calendar. We live stream this program every other Wednesday. Joining me is the creative genius behind this program and also the wonderful friends and partner that we have here, JenettaBarry, in the Epiphany process. She's such an important part of the messaging, the education, the hope, and the inspiration that we bring to people all over the world. Let's welcome her to the program, and then we'll bring out our special guest. Hello, Jenetta.
Oh, hello, Dr. Jacalyn, and thank you so much for that special intro. It's just such an honor and a privilege to be able to be part of USA Global TV and for having been able to co-create what we've co-created as a team. It's just wow. So thank you.
Thank you. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and I'm so thankful for you and for the time and the energy and the professionalism that you put into everything that you do. And it's interesting because we met through an interview. So you never know in life where one connection is going to take you. And I remember you were on Celebrate Great Britain Royally Rich, I think was the show, and you were sharing your backstory. And I was so moved by what you shared. And we just had this connection. And here we are, I think a year and a half later. I don't even know. It's been a while.
It has been a while, and I've loved every bit of it. I just so enjoy it. And what I also enjoy is the caliber of people we have presenting on this platform. They're open-hearted, sharing, loving. It makes such a difference when all your colleagues are in the same mindset and heart set. So, yeah, I mean, for anybody who wants to know more about USA Global TV and be a part of it, really, I strongly recommend you reach out because this is the platform of the future, in my opinion.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. I appreciate that. So, for people who are tuning in for the first time and they're thinking, wow, this is probably a cool travel show, what is this show really about and what are we going to learn today?
Yeah, it's not a cool travel show, it's a hot adventure show. And that's why I love it so much, because it's not about saying, go here and do this and you know, it'll cost that much and book into this hotel. It's not that at all. We invite people onto this show to share their amazing experiences, unique experiences, heart-opening experiences in their travels. And that makes it so uniquely different and insightful. So it's a bit like David Attenborough with a twist. It's got that little bit more because it's not just about animals, although it does and can include animals. It's about the people and what they experience in their unique value system. And that's what makes it each program so uniquely different. And I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's actually with that today's program is, I'm a bit biased because it's got to be one of my favorites today, because our guest today is my very precious daughter-in-law, Ashley Steedman. Now, some of you may remember our very first couple of shows had my son Neil presenting and his experiences of growing up in Kenya as a child and going to school there and then getting into the safari business. And that's where he met Ashley and why she's here today. And I always love being with this precious person. She and I have a wonderful affiliation. So it's with great pride and pleasure that she's joining us today. And we're also going to be, shall I keep it a secret, Dr. Jacalyn?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yes.
hang on. We've got something so special. Ashley's going to share her special moment. And then we've got a really precious guest appearance. So watch this space. It's coming up. in a theater near
Fabulous.
you.
Let's welcome the beautiful Ashley Steedman to the program. Hello.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show.
Thank you
It's
You
so
are
much.
so
to be here.
welcome.
Ashley, tell our viewers and listeners where you're joining from today.
So, I am currently sitting in the Timbavati, about 45 minutes to an hour's drive from any city, any town. And I'm in the bush, in the lodge. So, it's amazing. Between
Now,
the big five.
I have to say this, and this is going to come from an American who is ignorant. That would be me. That would be me. So, what I'd love to have you touch on today as part of this conversation, you're an obviously beautiful woman, very glamorous, very attractive. I'm thinking the bush is, I've got a backpack and I'm covered with mud and I'm so, and obviously that's completely false. Tell us what life is like there.
Dr. Jacalyn, you're not far off. I'm also currently fighting off the mosquitoes as we're speaking. So people have a very nice picture of what they see on TV generally, which is game drives, good-looking guides, bush, animals around every corner. Generally, that's not the case. There's the bad side, the good and the bad, where you can get stuck in the mud, go through thick water, downpour rains while you're on the game drive. So yes, it does get us, you know, a nice and a dirty out there, but me myself, I really enjoy being dressed up all the time, looking good, and not looking like I've, just walked a long trek through the field. So yes.
Having said that, Ash, I've seen you look good, but you're quite prepared to get the mud all over you and knuckle down and do the bush experience, and that's what I love about you, is that that there's give and take.
Absolutely, Janetta. So I absolutely love dressing up, but also, for the occasion, 100% you would not see me actually walking away from home without uh, the proper clothes, the makeup, the hair. And then I hit Hoedspruit town, which is the closest town to us. And, you can easily see people walk around with their shorts, shirts, flip flops, and yeah, but being a mom, I do sometimes tune it down and enjoy the game drives and play in the mud and have some fun with my kids as well.
Ashley, a question I have for you and also for Janetta. For people who don't know and they haven't been there, they haven't been in the bush, they've watched something on television or they've read something, is it really two separate different environments? One being five-star resorts or luxury experiences, and then you're in a jungle and there's nothing in between, or is there a lot in between those two?
So, no, actually, it can just remain 5 star from the landing at the airstrip, getting collected by a game viewer, having a relaxing drive to the lodge, and then arriving there, being welcomed with the refreshments, and then going to the room and they check you in, they do the whole story, and it's really an amazing experience. So it depends where you're going and where you're staying. Some guests prefer a mobile safari. That is, you know, you might get stuck in the mud. You might get a flat tire, and then you might join in on fixing the tire or digging yourself out of the sand. Each guest decides, what the experience is going to be like in the bush, when they're booking.
Thank
And
you.
and yeah, we try and provide that experience, for them.
Yeah, I love it. So people walk away with that memory of how they wanted to spend that time.
Well, we've lost Ashley. She's gone and
She's a frozen for the moment.
gone. She
Janetta,
has
what
gone.
about
So
those two extremes that I mentioned where you are? Do you find that?
yeah, yeah. It happens throughout Africa, and you choose which one you want. And of course, living there is a little bit different. one tends, when you live here, and I am generalizing, to want to go to the more organic way of doing it, so that you really experience the bush. And it's something we're going to show a little bit later in that guest appearance, where it's just about making sure you've got everything with you, even a mobile radio, a satellite radio, and going into the middle of nowhere and making sure you've got a spare tire and a load of spare parts and a spade for a toilet to dig a hole. And you've got to take your own water and your own food. I've done that often, and I love it, because you really feel as though you're one with nature. That you can get all the sights, the smells. You see animals come, you see animals go. You feel you're really there. Whereas in a 5-star hotel, it's really lovely, but there is a disconnect, especially flying in. And then there's a disconnect because you're not really part of the scene. You're viewing the scene from a distance. But that's the wonderful thing, is there's a cross section of all of that, from the one extreme to the other. You have different types of lodges and hotels that give a mixture of both, so it's not all or nothing, and you've got that choice.
Thanks, Janetta. That we have lost Ashley. Hopefully she'll be back. But one of the things that we definitely wanted to cover today was to give our viewers and listeners a sense of safety. Is it safe to be in the bush? You just talked about packing up all these things and having them with you. So if you are prepared and you have some basic training, some knowledge, how safe are you out there in the bush?
You're safe if you're prepared and you have that knowledge. An example would be the very first time I went to Botswana was with Jenny and Catherine, my 2 daughters. Catherine was about 7 and Jenny was about 12, 11, 12. And we were very fortunate to be given a concession to go into Botswana, because Botswana is quite expensive. We went with a school group and they gave us a guide. So we were able to go to places that aren't normally safe to go on your own. But we had a guide who had a rifle with him. So we were able to camp in the middle of nowhere in the Kalahari, and in the middle of nowhere in Moroni, in the Okavango, with the elephants walking right through our camp, and the lions right close by on the airstrip. And every time they roared, our tent poles were going ding, 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 ding. But it's safe because you know what you're doing and you know where the dangers are and aren't, and then it's fine.
Thanks so much for sharing that. And our beautiful guest is back. Hello, Ashley.
Hey guys, I apologize. The power went off. Just quickly tripped, but I've been trying to get the Wi-Fi back up and running.
Well, it's
Yay.
good to see you. And we were just talking about how safe people are if they have some training, some knowledge, the proper equipment if they're in the bush. And I know that was one of the things you wanted to cover today.
Yes, so as long as the guys are with a qualified guide, they'll always be with a manager or a staff member that's been taught how to behave in the bush, how to approach, or whether you see a dangerous animal, what to do in that situation. So yeah, it's absolutely a safe experience, and definitely, as long as you treat nature with respect, you would really be on the safe side of it. As long as you're cautious and aware of your surroundings, then you really have nothing to worry about. And you would be taken through every game drive. They will remind you of the safety procedures to follow when you go on a game drive, when you walk to your room, anytime, or that you do anything while staying at the lodge. Someone will remind you just to be cautious of your surroundings. But they try and make it the most safe experience possible.
Are there typically 1 or 2 people who just fall out of line and just want to do something crazy to just start a stampede or something?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, I was in the sighting the other day when someone just wanted to get out of the vehicle to have a bathroom break, and I was surprised. I said, "I'm sorry, but we are surrounded by 25 plus wild dogs. I don't think it's a safe thing to do right now. And also, there's other game viewers and other people around us." So I said, once we leave the sighting, we'll find you a safe spot. So you absolutely get that. People that want to go and cuddle with a lion, maybe, or they don't think it's so dangerous while they're lying on their backs. They look very harmless. So absolutely, we get the more adventurous guests, definitely.
I can imagine. I'd be staying in the vehicle. That would be for sure. You wouldn't
Oh,
catch me.
myself, even my kids understand. We stay in the vehicles, arms and legs stay in the vehicles, you know. So you do get like an elephant approaching. I've sat in a game view where I've been approached by an elephant and it was sniffing me with its trunk, sniffing my head and my shoulders, and you just sit so quietly, and you don't move, and you try not to freak out, which is really hard, and you're fine. They move on. They're just curious, but the guide will just tell you to sit very still. Um, in another incident, I was charged by a cheater, but again, I was with qualified guides, and everyone stood dead still, and we were fine. It was pattering its feet on the ground and like showing its teeth, and she was just unhappy having us there. But we stood still. She saw we weren't going to do anything, and she was happy, and she walked away, and we walked away as well. So
Phew.
you do get those experiences, but it's a thrill as well. It's in the moment. It's scary, but it's definitely something to
It's
experience.
those moments that get people saying, "I want to come back." It
Yes,
really
yes,
is. They go,
absolutely.
"Wow, this is the real deal. I would love some more of it." And
And
people
none
come
of it's
Absolutely.
back. And
choreographed. It's all happening in real
no,
time.
in
Exactly.
fact,
Yes, yes.
Ashley, you were telling me this week when we were talking on the phone that you have a guest at the moment that's back for their 19th time.
Wow.
That's right. She's been coming back. It's a guest from Switzerland, and she's just decided this is her second home, and she's been coming back again and again. She just loves it. She loves the experience, and every year she comes back. Nature changes. More lions, less hyenas. Less lions, more hyenas, more elephants. And this is also the seasons that everyone's having their babies, the impalas and the elephants, and she just loves experiencing all of that. And so every year she just comes through again and again, and she just can't get enough.
And you have something very special that happened to you that I know we're going to be hearing more about. Jenetta, do you want to tee it up?
I'll tee it up. So, Ashley and Neil had a really very special adventure when they were living in Botswana. They were in Botswana for 9 years until earlier this year when they moved into the most northern part of South Africa. They're almost in Mozambique now. You can just about walk into Mozambique where they are. And whilst they were living there, a happening happened where Ashley decided that she was going to organize a balloon safari in the Okavango Delta. And interestingly enough, Dr. Jacalyn, it's in the same area we were talking about in the last program that this happened in Bumburu Plains. And she organized it all, and Neil and she went off. And I'm now going to hand the rest of the story back to Ashley because it's a very funny one. Over to you, Ash. What happened?
Thank you, Janetta. Okay, so Neil said he's got a moment. He can take some leave. Let's go into the bush, and specifically Bumbura Plains. So he wanted to experience a camp, and so did I. So as I was walking through his office, getting ready to leave, I was running around telling the reservations team to please book me a hot air balloon. I know there's hot air ballooning, so I really wanted to get onto one. I went to at least two or three different authorities and said, please make this happen for me. So once we got there, everyone was like, absolutely, we can do this for you. I was sitting down having lunch. One of the guys, Penyu, actually came up to me, one of the managers, and said, actually, tomorrow morning you're going on a hot air balloon. We have arranged this for you. And I was super excited. So the next morning, very early, I would say it was about 4:30, we got into a game viewer and we were racing to get to the hot air balloon. And I was crossing my fingers that the weather would hold up. If the wind's blowing strong and if it's blowing in the wrong direction, then generally they do not do the hot air balloon. But everything worked into my favor, and I got onto the hot air balloon and we were just floating through the sky. You go very low so you can see the animals from close up, or they go up higher and then they go really fast to get you into the next area. And while we were up there, Neil was pointing out different animals and saying, look over there and look over there. And honestly, I didn't want to look at anything except, far into the destination to see, all the animals around me. But when I turned around, Neil was slightly on one knee in this small little basket that we were in, and he was actually proposing to me. And I just couldn't believe my eyes. Like, I was completely taken aback. I did not expect this at all. And it was such a magical moment. And obviously the guys on board with us knew what was happening because they were busy taking photos. So they knew all along what was happening. And here I was thinking that I'm so amazing for arranging this hot air balloon for myself and my now husband, Neil.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
It was so.
So he organized it all weeks before. So, and we've got a photo showing the moment as Ashley put the ring on her finger, and Ashley, and the ring. Talk about the ring. That ring that's on your finger there.
So it fit, which I was really surprised about because I've got really big hands. But it's such a beautiful ring. It's completely my style. This actually is Neil's grandmother's ring, Shushu, who is super
my grandmother. My grandmother.
Oh,
it's actually
okay,
Neil's
so
great-grandmother's ring.
Great-grandmother.
Yeah.
So it has so much meaning, and I appreciate it so much because I love anything with history and with a story behind it. So it's a beautiful ring. And as you can see, the surprise on my face.
You look shocked. You do.
I did not expect it. Not at all.
It's beautiful.
And I was sitting in Nairobi saying, Neil, let me know when it's happened and please send photos soonest. I really wished I was a fly or something, or a bird on the balloon.
Neil struggles to hide any surprises from me. I know about them before he even probably thought about them, and so this really caught me off guard. So I was
and Ashley, how long ago was this?
So this was in 2017. Janetta, correct me if I'm wrong. Usually Neil's the one that remembers. April 2017, round about then. Yeah. So
it's magnificent. And
yeah.
Thanks for sharing that with us too. I love it.
Yeah, it was a very special moment.
We do have a comment from one of our dear friends here on the platform, Mr. Ian Pelham Turner, who is in London right now. I used to go in with lions and tigers as a wildlife photographer. You have to be careful of elven trunks. Stroke them down, not up. They have spiky hairs, which can badly scratch if you stroke up. All right.
Wow, yeah. I didn't know that. Did you know honestly, that, Ash?
No, I've never stroked an elephant. I've stood next to one and taken a photo precariously, hoping it doesn't do anything funny. But I've never touched an elephant. I have touched it, but not the trunk specifically. Just the leg or the ear. So or the tusk. But I would like to know about that.
Thanks, Ian. One thing I wanted to just mention was I've heard this before from our team member, Pet Psychic Amina. I've heard it from other people, is that animals can sense our fear. And they smell it, I guess. So that's why I guess we have to remain very calm and not move a finger, right?
Absolutely. I have been in a situation where I was walking on a boardwalk, which would have made me at eye level with the elephants. So I was just stood frozen because I was on a corner of the boardwalk and they were surrounding the boardwalk. And I was whispering like, "Go away," very quietly, and then I said, "Go away." And then I was like, oh, nothing's happening, and my nerves are completely taking over. So then I loudly said, "Go away." And just, coming out of that fear and like that authoritative "go away," they just moved, or they didn't run. I wasn't screaming or freaking out. I just said, "Go away," and they moved off slowly. So then I got back, walked on further to the boardwalk. But that was one moment that I certainly won't ever forget.
And
Definitely.
Ash, the other one that we were chatting about when we were getting ready for this program was your hyena moment out on in Mombo, in the middle of the Okavango Delta. You want to tell
Yes,
that one?
so this is quite an interesting one. So it was at least a month that I was being followed by this hyena female. So the hyenas are active between the morning hours and the afternoon hours from about 5:30 in the evening. And then, they're active throughout the night until about 6:30, 7 in the mornings when it starts warming up. Then they go back to the dens. So this hyena specifically would always be waiting for me at night when I came back to my room. And then in the mornings, it would still be hanging around. I'd be sleeping at night, and it would come right up, walk up on my deck, and it would stand there by my room, by my door. And it's just a wooden wall, and then the rest of it is mesh. And it would just be a mad smell. Like it was so bad, so bad. Like if you haven't smelled hyena before, it's so bad and so strong. And this hyena, I would wake up Neil and say, "Please go and chase this hyena. It stings and it won't leave me alone at all." So then, a month or two later, we found out that I was actually pregnant. And unbeknownst to me, when I spoke to one of the ecologists, he told me that this hyena was smelling your pheromones. So she was coming to check out what the competition was. So she just wouldn't leave me alone. And, I had no idea what was going on until I found out I was pregnant. And I spoke to a gentleman called Map Ives, who's lived in Botswana for most of his life. He's brought up his kids in Botswana. And he told me that she was just following me around because she was trying to see what was the competition.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
fascinating. I can understand that.
really well. Yeah, yeah. It was it was really scary moment because I would do early mornings. I would wake up the guests at 5 o'clock in the mornings, which means leaving my house, getting off the deck, getting onto the ground, getting back up on the deck, and walking from room to room. So she wouldn't follow me on the deck, but she would be in a vicinity that she knew I would come back to. Yes.
Sounds a little too close for
Amazing.
comfort to me, but
To me, it was absolutely, the hyena when they cry, you hear that scary whoop and the echoes, and
Woo.
it's a really like a ghost noise, so it can be very eerie. So,
unnerving.
and they're big. They're much bigger than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
We do have another
Yeah.
comment from Ian. If you fear, don't go near. Fear is an attack scent for animals. They attack you before you attack them.
So true. Oh,
Absolutely.
Ian,
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks, Ian, for sharing that. I know we have
thank you.
something very special that we're going to be sharing. So, who wants to talk about that?
Ash,
Janetta, the
this is
floor is
your
yours.
show. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay, I'll
We can
start
both.
it.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah, you
all right.
start.
So my daughter Arabella did a interview with her grandmother, who she lovingly calls Mimi. So that's Janetta, and this is essentially the video is about my daughter doing the interview with her grandmother, and I think that my daughter loves the limelight, so she really had a good time doing this.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jeanette. Anything you want to add
So-
before we show the video?
Well, that's a really wonderful introduction, because it's true. Bella and I talked about it, and she knew I do a lot of shows and all sorts of things. And I said, would you like to be on my show? Thinking we'd make it a mock one. And she said, yes. So we set it up so that we were both on my podcast show, my Epiphanies with JENETTA, mock, but I was recording it, and about halfway through I thought, we've got to use this. This is amazing footage. And so we decided to use it. And one of the things that Neil has been doing with Bella regularly is taking her into the bush. One of those trips was into the middle of nowhere with that satellite phone and the spade and the water, and nobody to rescue you unless you are on the satellite phone. And I think he spent about 5 or 6 nights with Bella in the middle of nowhere in Botswana, teaching her all the bits and pieces of wildlife and so on. And so she really became very knowledgeable. Even the bird book, he started putting tabs on the bird book and little diagrams. So blue tit was 2 breasts that were blue, things like that. And that was the tab where she could find a blue tit and look at it. It's so funny. So he's done all these sort of things with Bella. And of course, the interview was discussing what her life was like, and then we've ended the interview with a montage of what this child has done with my son Neil. So here we go. Ashley and I proudly present our very special 7-year-old Bella, Arabella. Tell everybody who's watching today, where do you live?
I live in the bush. A house.
A house? And is the house surrounded by buildings or by bush?
By bush.
Wow. So tell us about some of the things that you find outside your house some nights when you come home from school.
I see hyena, and that morning I normally see springbok, kudu, and some warthog.
And when you go to school, is your school very close to your house, or is it far away?
No, it's 2-hour drive.
Wow. And so what animals have you seen on the road when you're driving to school? Tell our viewers about that.
I've seen ostrich. I've seen leopard, lion, hyena, zebra, and impala, and mostly all of them except for the honey. I've seen honey badger. I haven't seen an aardvark or a cheetah yet. I've seen a spitting cobra.
Whoa, you've seen a lot.
And some tortoise and scorpions in my house.
So what do you do when you find a scorpion in your house?
Well, my mom puts them in a container and then we throw it out.
Okay, back into the bush.
Yeah, and I almost fell on one.
Oh my word, and then what happened?
I was almost going to fall on one on my head, but my mom saved me.
Oh my word, thank goodness for mummies, hey? When you hear impala in the bush, can you tell the different calls that the impala have? Or do they always make the same sound?
They don't always make the same sound. They normally make a noise when there's danger.
Okay, and can you tell us what that noise is like, or is that difficult to do?
Difficult.
Oh, okay. And do they make a noise when the daddy's calling out to the mummies?
No. They only do it for predators.
Oh, okay, all right. Wow. And tell me, Daddy told me your most favorite happening.
My favorite one is when we saw the elephant knock down our gate and it came right up to the step.
Oh my word, yes, I remember when that happened. Did you talk to the elephant?
My dad tried to chase him away, and then my dad called me to go and have a picture in front of it.
Oh my word, have we got a picture of that? I haven't seen that. I've only seen the video of the actual elephant trying to eat your tree right on your veranda.
He even knocked down all our plants.
I saw that.
He knocked down one of the plants.
Rhino.
What kind?
It's a white.
And how do you know it's a white rhino?
Because it has a square lip and it eats grass.
That's really cool.
We normally don't see them because they get poached a lot by poachers, and so the poachers only kill them for the horn. If we don't stop killing them, there might be none less, and they might get extinct.
Tell us again what we're doing.
We're going out of the boat.
With the car.
Yeah.
On the Kumaga ferry. Okay, there we go. Okay, what do we have here?
We got some leopard tracks.
How do you know?
Because it's small. They're normally small.
And
And they're going forward.
And how many toes do they have?
They have 4.
4 toes and 3 indentations at the back, eh?
Hey.
Yeah.
And we have 5 toes. And 1 at our back. 1 pad at our back. Hyena. And it's right by our house.
What do you know about hyenas?
Wow. Hyenas aren't very fast because the front legs are short and the back legs are long. It makes it harder, but the cool way about being a hyena is that if they run slowly and the animal can run fast, then the hyena runs slowly and the animal can run faster than it, then the animal gets tired, and then when the animal gets tired and takes a break, the hyena will catch it.
3, 2, 1, go. Did it work?
Yeah.
Well done.
Oh my goodness, that was incredible. I'm like tears. Oh, amazing.
So that last lighting as a fire was in the middle of nowhere. Absolutely. And she was learning how to build a fire and cook. And that was about 2 years ago, Ash, wasn't it? She was about 5 there.
Actually, I think you're right, Janetta. I think it was actually last year, to be honest. I think it was last year, actually. Yeah.
During lockdown, yeah.
Yeah, her dad took her out for a few days. I said, off you guys go, and I stayed with Kiara, and they had a little bit of an adventure. Yeah.
It's amazing what she knows. I mean, I don't know any of that. I can't even start a fire. Right. She's all those survival skills and speaks so intelligently and from her heart. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you both feel watching that when you see it?
Well, I mean, as a mom, I do feel proud. You know, I don't think my daughter realizes exactly how lucky she is, having all of these experiences that she has every day. But I do hope that pretty soon, you know, it will just hit her like, you know, I had all of this at my feet. You know, as young kids, you know, they take it for granted. Every day is the same. But I can't say that they're not learning from that experience. You know, if something happens, then they usually are involved in it. So from, you know, the scorpions that we catch in the house to the lions to seeing the rhinos, it's incredible for them.
Ashley, one thing that really came across to me, and I don't have any children, but I know people, especially here in the States, the children are consumed with technology. They're on their devices and they don't communicate like other generations because they've grown up with the technology. And there you are with real life experiences every day that
Yes,
your children are embracing.
absolutely, Dr. Jacalyn. So Arabella and Kiara both love the TV, my kids, and they do get a bit of tablet time as well, but we try and keep it at a good balance. I must say Neil is better at it than I am, making sure that they get out into the bush and they experience it a bit more often. But then driving an hour and a half to school every day, I try and take away the tablet and we just drive and look at what birds we can identify, what animals. Today we had wild dogs running next to our car. We had elephants with their babies close to our car as well. And the girls love it. You think that they get bored of it after a while, but they do engage and they do love the experience. But at the end of the day, we do like to balance it out with them. Some tablets, some TV, some bush time, play in the mud, jump on the trampoline. I do believe that a balance of everything is good for them.
Absolutely. And Ashley, I'm just wondering, you've got that long drive, an hour and a half, 2 hours. What are you doing while they're in school?
So I actually work in Hot Sprayed. I do have a desk space which I rent for a month. Um, and then I can sit there and I do my work. I work for a company based in Australia, but both of us have experience. The founder, Dion, actually lived in Mombo and I worked with him while he was staying there, but then he moved to Australia where his family, where his wife is from. So for that reason, I'm on the ground. I can report back what's happening, what's new, what's the latest, and he travels frequently to Kenya, to Botswana, to Rwanda. So together we have a shared experience of what's happening. What he's got kids, so he knows what kids would love and enjoy and experience in the bush. So together we try and combine those experiences to be what the guests would like to see at the end of the day and to experience. And I must be honest, kids can get bored and kids can get frustrated being on long game drives, So there are companies out there that offer shorter game drives. They have bush buddy backpacks, you have your binoculars, and maybe the guide will take the kid on a little walk in the bush to go and track the spoor and to identify the poo or something like that. And the kids love it. They really love it. That experience. The guides are phenomenal. Are absolutely phenomenal.
It just sounds like such a great experience, educationally, spiritually, so many ways.
Yeah,
It
and
really
and
is.
that's the nice thing, Ash, is that you can cater as a safari operator with Dion. You can cater to the general or very specific. I mean, you had very good friends of mine who had to fly 3 airplanes from Cape Town through to Kenya, and it was father, son, and would have been son-in-law, and Ash organized that whole trip for them during COVID, and they were able to fly into Botswana and out of Botswana over the Okavango. Some of your safaris are very custom made.
Yes, Janetta, absolutely. What we try and do is personalize every experience um, to, for the guest. They will come to us and tell us exactly what they want, which country they would like to visit, and sometimes we might even change it for them and tell them, look, I can hear this is the experience you want, but we think that this place, maybe Botswana would be the best fit, Zambia, it might be Kenya or Namibia. So, and generally, they take our advice and they go with it because they understand we have that knowledge and they like that, they appreciate that. I've done it for a few guests where I've changed itineraries and put them where they wanted high end, where I put them low end and said, I think you're going to love this. If you want to get down and dirty, then this is your camp. It's going to be a real experience. You know, not too much glamour with it.
Ashley, how far in advance do people have to book and what does that process look like?
So I've had guests book last minute. It's just a scramble to find space, but we do make it happen for them. And guests book, some book 2025, 2024, and 2023. It just depends on the guest when they can travel. I'm working on bookings for 2024 at the moment. They try and get the families together. So this is a bigger booking, so they're trying to accommodate the family and where the whole family can travel. So then they say, let's make it 2024. Then we send out a few itineraries. We never just offer them one itinerary. We offer them a mid-range, a high-end itinerary, different properties, which offer different experiences, and say, are we getting close to what you would like to do? And we explain the itinerary in detail to them. This is with a camp. This is what we've chosen. This is why we've chosen it, and this is what you can expect there. And we try and do that with all of our itineraries, so that the guests know exactly what to expect when they get to the camp, or to the lodge, or start the journey.
That's fantastic. And is the opportunity available year round, or are there better times to book?
It's absolutely year round. It totally depends on the clients reach out to us. We would immediately get in touch with them and almost immediately start working in the itinerary and have it with them in a week or so. It just depends when they want to travel, how long it takes us to get availability, and then we put it all together. We never try and rush something, because we are trying to personalize it as much as possible, for the client, for the guest at the end of the day.
What's a good recommended length of time for someone to come and stay?
So I would say 3 nights per camp is our recommended length of stay per night. So some clients like to do 3 nights, 3 nights, 3 nights, or 3 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights. So it can be between 10 nights to 12 nights. Some of them have a long journey, so they'd like to make the most out of their safari before they have to take a long flight back home. So I would say between 9 and 12 nights is a good amount of time. And it depends, some come to South Africa, go to Botswana, for example, and then move on to Zimbabwe, to the Victoria Falls. Just to give an example, so they'll visit different countries. Or Kenya, then go to Rwanda, vice versa, or to Zanzibar. It just really depends on the clients.
So many options. I love it. Is there a certain package or program, or I'm trying to think what the word is, that you would recommend? I know it's different for every guest, but what would you recommend?
So for me, personally, having lived in Botswana, I love the area, and there is so much to see and so much to do, that I would combine a Botswana, going into Zimbabwe for a night or two, then heading off to Zambia, and experiencing the different areas. So as you go, the landscape changes. Botswana has got all the water. Then you move into Victoria Falls, and depending on the water levels, you're going to see a high waters or low waters, and then you go into Zambia, and they've got more like buffalo. So they've got a congestion of buffaloes or elephants. You see them in huge herds. So yeah, I would. That's my combination. But there's so many to choose from that I would never give up an opportunity. If someone said we go to Kenya or to Rwanda, I'd be happy to go anywhere really. I love traveling, so.
I love that. Thank you. This has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed this, and especially the photograph of that beautiful moment, that surprise on your face, and also the video. Just priceless.
Thank you so much.
It's just been an amazing. I knew, I could feel that it was going to be a particularly joyful one and good fun. And Ash, as always, I love spending time with you, whether it's behind a camera now or with you. So I can't wait to see you again soon.
Gonna have to plan a trip to Kenya sometime.
And Ashley, we
Sorry.
want people to be able to reach out and contact you. So we have your banner that has your information. But for people who are listening on the radio or on a podcast platform, what are some of the ways for people to reach out if they want a book or they've got questions or maybe they want to plan a proposal in a hot air balloon? How can they reach out to you?
So I see that my email is there, ashley@safariguru.com. That is generally one of the ways to reach me. But then also there's the link to our website. So once you go onto the website, you can see who we are, and there's a few of us that book itineraries. So you can click either on Dion, who's the founder, or myself, or Suze, who's traveled Kenya extensively as well. So she also loves to plan itineraries. And then Alan is in Cape Town, so he's on the ground there, and between us, we have that combined experience to make it an incredible itinerary. And if you want to see what's happening,
I just want.
Sorry, Netta, I wanted to say that if you want to see and experience what I experience every day, I have got an Instagram account which is called @the Wild Safari Life. The Wild Safari Life.
Two things there, Ashley, because people can't read what's there. First of all, it's @the_wild_safari_life, and the website is safari-guru.com.
And that's
then
SAFARI-GURU.com.
That's the one. And Ash, what's your following now on Instagram? It's just exploded.
It has surprisingly exploded, Janetta. It's now on 107,000 followers.
Woo! Congratulations! That's
Thank you so much. Someone did ask me the other day, does that make me an influencer? And I was like, I never thought of myself as an influencer. I just like to post my videos of what I see on my drive to school and anything else that's exciting that happened in the bush. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations. That is exciting, outstanding. And you have a beautiful family. And Jenetta, thank you so much for having Ashley here and having Neil and having your granddaughter. It's just beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Dr.
thank
Jacalyn.
you.
It's been lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Mwah. Loves you.
Ashley, we hope to see you again. Please do come back and visit us on this or any of our other shows, and keep smiling. You have a beautiful smile.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Cheers, guys.
Bye. What a great show, Jenetta.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful show. Loved every second of it. Just superb.
And for people who don't know, Jenetta recently got married. So you are celebrating all around.
Yeah, it is. It's been an amazing year, actually, in terms of celebration and achievement. Being able to move where we've moved to in the Great Rift Valley just before we got married. I mean, it's paradise there. And by the way, Dr. Jacalyn, 2 days ago, one of the what's the word? I want to say the Swahili word, as askaris that look after the security men, told us that there is a leopard at the end of our we got an airstrip at the bottom of our garden, and there's a leopard with 2 cubs, and she killed an impala the night before last and took it up a tree, whilst at the same time a hyena killed a baby zebra and took it somewhere else, and we were going didn't even know it had happened. So we're very lucky, and World Jenny's Day was an amazing happening this year, and the safari bike ride raising funds for World Jenny's Day was the first time we'd done it. That was amazing. It's been and of course all this experience with USA Global TV has happened all this year, and I stop and reflect, and my Thanksgiving is for the wonderful way things have flowed this year in terms of adventures and happenings.
Oh, thank you, Jenetta. And we're going to continue to enjoy this journey and bring more education, hope, and inspiration in this show. And already 2 other shows today. There's another show on Monday, A Woman's Prerogative. So we'll just keep sharing the joy. And thank you to everybody who's watching and people who are listening. We really do appreciate you. And my Thanksgiving is just honoring each and every one of you and asking you to continue to spread love and light in the world. And come back and see us again soon.
Oh, lots of love, everybody. Can't wait to have you with us again in 2 weeks' time on this program show.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ashley. Bye, everyone. Bye.